Hi, good afternoon and happy holidays. Thanks for joining us for the County Executives Weekly Media Briefing. I'm Scott Peterson, the Manager of Media Relations, and I'm your backup moderator when Lorna is not able to join us. This week, Mark has a wonderful guest. The Executive Director of Nonprofit Montgomery, Bridget Howe, is joining us, and she'll be joining our ACAO, Luisa Cardona, to talk about the upcoming Giving Tuesday in our Montgomery Gives Local campaign. So, Mark, without further ado, let me turn it over to you.
All right. So thank everybody for tuning in today and happy Thanksgiving almost. As we celebrate the holiday with our friends and families, host dinners or travel to loved ones out of town, hope everyone's considering our neighbors throughout the county who may be struggling and may not be having much of a Thanksgiving. Our county is facing unprecedented challenges. I think we all understand what's going on. We've been hit harder than anywhere else in the country by federal workforce layoffs and furloughs. The longest federal shutdown in history left thousands of federal employees and contractors without pay and delayed essential programs, including SNAP. An extraordinary pressure is on both our families and on the nonprofits that support them. Next Tuesday is Giving Tuesday, and I encourage all those who can to consider donating to local nonprofit service providers. As we've consistently invested in our community, uh, we've put $23.5 million into food assistance, $62 million into services to end and prevent homelessness, $200 million for our local nonprofits. And in the past month, in a partnership with the County Council, we've invested another $7.75 million in public service support packages. We're doing everything we can, but it's not enough. There are still families in Montgomery County waiting for food or housing help. The mother who isn't sure she can put a Thanksgiving meal on the table. The father who wonders if he's able to place a single present under the tree. The nonprofits that open their doors every morning, hoping they'll have enough funding to stay open because they know there's a line of people depending on them. That's why I'm asking our residents to give local, because our nonprofits are carrying a tremendous load. A contribution, no matter the amount, goes farther than before, and financial donations allow nonprofits to stretch every dollar through bulk purchasing and targeted assistance. We talked about this a little bit when we were talking about the food bank work we were doing. Um, Giving to individual food providers is not quite as effective as providing the money to Manna, which actually buys in bulk for many of them and is able to get lower prices than many of the individuals are able to provide. So supporting Manna is important, but supporting wherever you want to help is important. And that's the key thing, is everybody giving as much as we can give to help people not just get through Thanksgiving, but frankly, we're going to need to do this getting people through the winter and probably beyond. Nonprofit Montgomery recently published a supplement to its State of Nonprofits report focused on the federal impacts on local organizations. They conducted a survey 6 months after Trump's second term began, right after the big ugly bill passed. And I want to share a section of the report with you. Quoting, not only did respondents report concerns about federal funding sources, but the economic uncertainty facing Montgomery County has led to a decline in individual giving, noted by 74% of the respondents. Nearly two-thirds of respondents reported declines in corporate and foundation giving. Reduced individual giving comes on top of a loss of federal support. According to DOGE data from January to July 2025, at least 473 contracts and grants to our local nonprofits and businesses have been terminated. The impacts on our nonprofits have already been severe. Our community will continue to feel the consequences of federal decisions as we brace for deeper funding cuts and greater barriers to accessing housing, healthcare, and food. And federal actions are creating a situation where demand for help will continue to rise, just as the resources to meet that need are being reduced. I always say our nonprofits are our greatest partners. They reach people in need quickly, often more nimbly than government can. They're our safety net, but they can't do it alone. They need our support, and they need the community to give as well. And nonprofits stretch our dollars farther by providing services for less than the county would be able to do. So many of them rely on volunteers, and that would not be an option for county government. So our partnership with our nonprofits is key to extending the dollars we have and making them provide more value for the dollar. So there is real value in all of you supporting our nonprofits. Every form of giving matters, and if our residents cannot give financially, we ask them to please give generously with your time. We encourage residents to visit Montgomery County Volunteer Center to explore available organizations and opportunities. I'll turn this over now to Bridget Howe, the Executive Director of Nonprofit Montgomery, to share more about the current state of nonprofits in the county, and then to Luisa Cardona, Assistant Chief Administrative Officer, who will explain more about our Montgomery Gives Local campaign. So, Bridget and Luisa, this is your show now.
Awesome. Thank you very much. First, hello, everyone. I'm Bridget Howe. I'm the Executive Director of Nonprofit Montgomery, and the County Executive took some of my main talking points, but I'm happy to share them again because they're really important to understand. But first, let me introduce us. Nonprofit Montgomery is an alliance of nonprofits that serve Montgomery County, and our more than 200 members have an impact on tens, if not hundreds of thousands of county residents in need. We provide operational support for nonprofits through training and capacity building, but we also research trends and make sure to communicate those to decision makers. And so in this past year, we did invest in a report on the status of the sector. We issued that about it in March 2025, so very early in the new administration, and we had not reflected the impacts of the federal government. So we did the follow-up report, as the county executive said, and we saw really dramatic impacts. He mentioned the number that 74% of nonprofits have seen a decline in individual donations, and that's huge. 2/3 have seen a decrease in that corporate and that foundation support. We also learned that 60% reported that they had clients or staff who've been affected in some way by federal immigration actions. One of the quotes that we used in our report that I think really captures the moment where we are, one of our nonprofit leaders responded, quote, "There is growing uncertainty in the landscape due to impacts on our costs, job losses, general economic uncertainty, and the impact from that on our donations. All the variables in our formula are impacted." And so in this report, we did recommend that policymakers recommend the unique vulnerabilities, or I'm sorry, recognize the unique vulnerabilities of the nonprofit sector and choose to invest in its future. And the county executive detailed ways in which the county is doing that, but the county can't do it alone, which is why I'm really glad to be here with Luisa to talk about Giving Tuesday. One thing I did want to also mention is that I was meeting with my colleague Tiffany Turner Allen from nonprofit Prince George's. They're seeing very similar trends over there. And she shared a saying with me, which I think is really suitable, which is we respond to now and we reimagine the next. So the work that we're doing now is going to help us figure out the future of the nonprofit sector. And then finally, during Thanksgiving, again, I just want to express our gratitude to the county for the continued partnership and support of the sector, and to the county residents who give their time and their treasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Bridget, for sharing those really important details. As the county executive said, we're embarking on this campaign of Montgomery County Gives Local. We know that Giving Tuesday is coming up. We know that the end of year is a great time where a lot of people consider giving. And right now we're asking our community to really consider the unique vulnerabilities that are facing Montgomery County with federal impacts, with our residents, with our nonprofits, and to give local. So you can go to our volunteer center website, montgomerycounty.gov/volunteer. On that page, you'll see in the home page where you can select how to contribute, and you can filter by the cause that is true to your heart. We're asking you simply to volunteer locally to any organization that calls to you in your heart. And we're also asking you to share where you give, where you contribute by using the hashtag Montgomery County Gives Local, because we want to highlight all the amazing contributions that our residents are already doing, because you sharing your story might inspire another and another to also contribute. This is a very unique time for this county. And as the county executive said, as Bridge said, we as the county executive, Marc Elrich, is invested substantially in what we know are the gaps, and we know that they're going to increase, which is why we're asking us to come together as a community for everyone to give. So please encourage everyone. Montgomery County Gives Local. Use the hashtag, share your story, and contribute to whatever passion drives you. Thank you.
Thanks, Louisa and Bridget. We're going to pause for a moment and get take questions on this issue only before we resume the briefing memo. So we'll take any other questions later in the briefing. But is there any questions from the reporters about the state of our nonprofits and our encouraging of giving this holiday season? Please raise your hand if you have a question, and I will
I'm
happily
sorry,
call.
Scott. I did forget one thing. I also, if people have questions about where to give, I did want to highlight that Bethesda Magazine has a great 2025 guide to giving that just came out yesterday. If anyone is looking for a little bit more of how and where to give.
Oh, that's great. And we'll try to do is put that link in the chat as well for the reporters. There's also links to the Montgomery County Volunteer Center as well as nonprofitmoco.org. All right, any questions? I do not see. Oh, there we go. Shioli, Jacoby, question?
Hi, yeah, just a quick clarifying question. Wanted to see when you say this is a new initiative, are you saying like new this year, or have you done this for past Thanksgiving seasons?
So for past Thanksgiving seasons, we have encouraged Amplified Giving Tuesday. This year, we don't anticipate that, as the county executive mentioned, this is going to go on likely much beyond the winter season, the holiday season. So for us, this is going to be likely something that will extend beyond this holiday season. So while we typically do this around Thanksgiving, we know that the needs are probably going to increase. So this will be a longer campaign.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shioli. Any other questions? And thank you so much for reminding us that, sometimes when we have new reporters, we have to kind of reset the clock for everybody. So thanks, Sheila, for that question. Well, I think if there's no other questions on this issue, please let me or Louisa or Bridget know after the fact if you want to do any follow-ups. We're happy to accommodate, and we do hope everyone reports and encourages a Giving Tuesday throughout the holiday season, and as Louisa noted, and beyond. Mark, back to you.
All right. So last Friday, I traveled to AstraZeneca's manufacturing facility in Frederick, where I joined AstraZeneca's CEO Pascal Soriot and Governor Wes Moore and Frederick County Executive Jessica Fitzwater and Representative April McLean Delaney to announce AstraZeneca's decision to invest $2 billion more here in Maryland. This investment includes the construction of a new state-of-the-art facility in Gaithersburg, and a significant expansion of its flagship biologics manufacturing facility in Frederick. As Governor Moore noted in his remarks, this is the largest private sector investment in our state in the last 10 years. The new facility in Gaithersburg, which will be fully operational by 2029, will create 100 new jobs, retain 400 jobs, and support 1,000 construction-related jobs. Both the expanded facility in Frederick and the new facility in Gaithersburg will leverage cutting-edge AI, automation, and data analytics, and be the first and be built to the highest environmental standards. It'll be the first of its kind production facility in the United States. AstraZeneca's decision to expand its presence in Montgomery County is a powerful testament to the strength of our highly educated and diverse workforce and the depth of our innovation ecosystem and the quality of life that continues to attract and retain world-class companies. We're proud that AstraZeneca's North American research and development headquarters is here in Montgomery County, and we support them in continuing to develop more treatments for patients in our community and around the world. Just a few months ago, I had the privilege of touring AstraZeneca's new $300 million cell therapy facility here in Rockville. What I saw there was remarkable cutting-edge advanced manufacturing already at work and scientists developing cell-based therapies that re-engineer a patient's own immune cells to fight disease. This isn't theoretical, it's actually happening here today in Montgomery County. When you hear somebody talking about personalized medicine or personalized treatments, this is the kind of thing they're talking about, where they can literally re-engineer your cells, put them back in your body, and let your own cells do the fighting against it's being used in cancer and other things. This is a big deal in science. It's leading to a new era of how people are treated for their illnesses, and personalized medicine is something we're going to be hearing a lot more of. It would be nice if the president actually supported that and would support the research that's been the backbone of that. But that's not the moment we're in now. But fortunately, we have companies and universities that are still doing this work and committed to it. AstraZeneca represents the kind of partner that we value, a multinational leader that understands the importance of talent, innovation, and community. We're proud of its workforce here in the county, proud of the scientists, researchers, and engineers and professionals whose work is changing patients' lives across the world. And I want to thank AstraZeneca for their continued confidence in our county's talented workforce. We look forward to supporting your growth for many years to come. On another nice news on economic development and progress, yesterday we had a press conference in Gaithersburg on our new transit center at the old Lake Forest Mall site, and it received a lot of coverage and positive feedback. Lake Forest Mall opened in 1978, closed in 2023. It was the largest mall in the county for some time and was a well-known community gathering spot for shopping and dining for 45 years. The mall site is now being transformed, as you can see by this picture here, by WRS, a developer from South Carolina, into a mixed-use development that will support residential housing, entertainment, shopping, and public gathering spaces. Under the first phase of the agreement, WRS will prepare nearly 2 acres of land for construction, including filling in a drainage pond and grading the site, ensuring that it's build ready. When it's build ready, the new transit center will go there. In the meantime, during construction phase, the existing transit center in the mall will continue to operate. The new center will serve 8 ride-on bus routes that currently use the existing transit center, as well as the planned Maryland 355 Flash BRT corridor. You can see the map of the corridor to get an idea of the extent of the system. Building this transit center is critical to this redevelopment process and our forthcoming BRT system. My work on BRT began in 2008, but we've not had the money to appropriately plan it out and design what we're now finalizing. The idea is to provide a way to better connect our county that is not reliant on rail or more lanes for cars. If you think about it, Metro's Red Line is a great way to get in and out of Montgomery County and is set for those working in DC. That was the original purpose of it. As we think about how we can grow and expand our economy, we have to think about how we can more easily and conveniently move around the county. And if you take a minute and just look at the map, you get a sense of all the communities that will be interconnected by the BRT eventually. And what you don't see here is the reconfiguration of Ride-On, which will go to focusing more on the neighborhoods surrounding these stops and feeding people to these main lines, which do the bulk of the transit in the county. This would be a big change for the county because the ride-on system currently does a lot of twisting, turning, and riding through neighborhoods to pick up all the people it needs to pick up, with no ability to transfer them to a bus that does the long distance trip. This will enable us to make better use of the ride-on system and to tailor its use to getting people from the neighborhoods out to the main lines. And the main lines will provide rapid, regular service to major job destinations in the county. Building this transit center is critical to the redevelopment process and our forthcoming BRT system. We've gone from our initial flash bus route on US 29 to designing 5 more routes along 355, Freers Mill Road, New Hampshire Avenue, and North Bethesda, and an extension of the Route 29 line. Howard County has already agreed to participate. They'll be buying buses and providing stations, and now when it's done, it will run from Columbia down 29, and that's been a major choke point for traffic because of so much Howard County traffic coming down 29 to jobs in the county and in the district. This should make a difference in people coming down here and getting more people off the road. 3 of those lines will intersect at Wheaton and North Bethesda metro stations, and there are hospitals, college campuses, and countless businesses on these premium bus routes. And when we build it out completely, there will be largely dedicated bus lanes to ensure that there's an advantage to taking Flash. The new Lake Forest Transit Center will be an important stop on the 355 BRT route, and we'll continue to update you on project progress in Gaithersburg. This Saturday is Small Business Saturday, November 29th. And we'll be asking folks to give locally this holiday season. We also want you to shop locally. This coming Saturday is the annual Small Business Saturday, and supporting small businesses matters. Studies show that for every dollar spent locally, 67 cents stays within our county. It's not true with other spending. According to the PwC survey from September, U.S. consumers plan to spend 5% less on seasonal spending compared to 2024, the biggest drop in 5 years. The survey also found there's going to be an 11% drop in average gift spend and a 23% drop in holiday spend from Gen Z people. This reduction in spending could have a profound impact, negative one, on all of our retail businesses and an even greater impact on our local small businesses. For many small businesses, particularly those in retail and dining, the holiday season provides a disproportionately large share of their annual revenues and profits, and they count on a strong holiday season to buffer them from lower sales outside of the holidays. So your support for small businesses now is really important if we want them to be there to continue to serve us next year. To make shopping locally even easier, we will be offering free parking in county-owned garages and lots on Small Business Saturday, November 29th, and again on Super Saturday, December 20th, one of the busiest shopping days of the year. Please note that parking at on-street meters is not free, and we will still enforce it. We hope the free parking in the garages will help encourage residents to explore our local businesses, enjoy everything Montgomery County has to offer, and there's a lot here. I want to give you some holiday safety tips. We have great holidays and they're great for celebrations, but sometimes things go wrong, and there are ways to make your holidays safer. I'd like to extend my appreciation to all county employees, including our first responders and transportation officials who work during the holiday away from their families to ensure our safety. The Thanksgiving holiday is the busiest day of the year for home cooking fires. Our fire department is reminding residents that unattended cooking is the leading cause of residential fires, and we're asking residents to please cook their Thanksgiving meal with as few distractions as possible. Please stay in the kitchen when using the stovetop and use a timer. When you must leave the kitchen, even for a short time, turn off the stove. Keep anything that can catch fire at least 3 feet away from the toaster and or the stove or other heat sources. And this includes pot holders, food packaging, dish towels, paper and plastic bags, etc. And if you're doing a turkey and you're doing it in the deep fry method this year, please be especially careful. Those can be really dangerous. The fires can be really severe, and the oil can be really harming to you. You know, aside from the fire, getting hit with the splash of hot oil can really do damage to you. So if you're doing a turkey that way, be extra careful. We also want to remind everyone to be mindful of driving impaired during the holiday events and gatherings. You should actually be mindful of driving impaired all the time, but especially during this season when we know a lot of people are out and they're celebrating. Montgomery County Department of Transportation and the Montgomery County Police Department are warning residents, please plan ahead and not drive if they choose to celebrate with alcohol or have used cannabis. MCBD has activated a holiday alcohol task force to detect impaired drivers. There will be sobriety checkpoints and the saturation patrols in advance of Thanksgiving that will end after New Year's. So to expect to see more of us out there, if you get stopped, make your stop a pleasant one without giving them any reason to be upset so you can go about your business. And I'm now going to turn this over to my HHS teams for their updates, and then we'll take your questions.
Thank you, Mr. County Executive. And in keeping with your holiday messaging and theme, I want to remind folks that we understand that during the holidays, folks may experience stress or heightened stress, anxiety, or even suicidal ideation. But as a reminder, the county has a mechanism and help is within reach. We have our 988 crisis support number, as well as our crisis center, where we have folks available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That number is 240-777-4000. If you or someone you know is in need or a loved one, please share that information with them, because we want to keep all our residents safe during the holidays. That's all I have. Dr. Ashford, I'll turn it over to you now.
Thank you, Dr. Bridgers. We hope everyone has a great holiday weekend. That means friends, family, togetherness. And this is your friendly public health reminder that if you are sick, either before or after your festivities, remember to please stay home, rest, and return to normal activities 24 hours after the significant improvement of your symptoms and or the reduction of a fever. So that is it. Thank you.
Dr.
Thank you very
Stoddard.
much. Earl, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to give some numbers for members of the media from our first week of our holiday task force. It started about a week ago, and during the first week, we actually conducted 127 traffic stops, resulting in 144 citations, 124 warnings, and 22 DUIs just during the first week. So obviously, it's important from a safety perspective that if you're going to drink, please don't drive. Plan ahead, as County Executive noted. We have available Uber and Lyft and other rideshare services that will take you to your destination safely without you risking either getting a citation or even greater risk causing serious harm or a fatality in our community. So please do avail yourselves of those opportunities. Otherwise, the Montgomery County Police Department, the Maryland State Police, and others in that partnership will be out there conducting sobriety checkpoints to make sure that you're driving safely.
Thank you, Dr. Stoddard, Dr. Ashford, Dr. Bridgers. All right, we'll now go to general questions or questions about anything that we just shared with. Please, if you have a question as a member of the media, put up your hand and I will call on you. Miriam Shazad, MCM, go ahead. Happy holidays, Miriam.
Happy holidays. Thanks. Good afternoon. Mr. Elrich, the school board approved the CIP last week, so wanted to ask if you've started reviewing that and what you think of it, if you have.
We've started reviewing it. It's obviously outside the realm of, what we've historically had the resources for. I think everybody knows we've been bonding at about $280 million a year. I've asked for the increasing that bonding limit in the past, and we've been $300 million a year was what we were doing in 2009. So their budget request represents years and years and years of deferred maintenance and projects that never got put in for capital improvements. And one way to say this is now the bill's coming due. The challenge is going to be to figure out how to finance it. Obviously, much of our budget are things that aren't going to be changed. We have very little flexibility within the existing confines of the budget. So we're looking at different ways to approach this. Hopeful that maybe we get a little bit more money from the state. But it's going to be a big lift. The request's $160 million a year. That's it's each year over 6 years, so it's almost $1 billion increase over what we're spending right now over 6 years. We're going to work on it. We're going to try to find a way to fund as much of this as possible. But we're going to need cooperation from the council. All of us have to recognize it's an extraordinary request, but it's an extraordinary need, and it does not fit in the current structure of our budget. So we're going to have to think hard about how we actually accomplish this.
Thank you so much.
Bob Barnard, Fox 5.
Hey there, Scott. Hi, Mary. Dr. Bridgers, Dr. Stoddard. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Mark, question for you. The Maryland Transit Administration is heralding they've gotten their last of their state-of-the-art 28 light rail vehicles in Maryland from Elmira. Project still a little more than 2 years to be completed.
Right.
It's going to outlast your service, but your reaction to them celebrating something that is still 2 years away.
I guess I know they need the vehicles before they actually open the station. So they're going to do about a year I think it's a year of test runs where they have to make sure everything works and the timing and all that. So it's not surprising that they're coming in early. I want to celebrate when the things finally open. I'm glad they got the vehicles. I'll be a lot happier when the things open.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Bob. Looking for anyone else's hand? Would anybody else have a question or suggestion?
Oh, I've got a suggestion. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
Everything's good.
well, we'll take suggestions. Well, I mean, you can give compliments too if you'd like.
You're all great. Thank you very
Thank you. All
much for
right,
your
we'll take
service and your
that.
time.
Now that's a holiday
Uh,
gift.
I just wanted to express just thank you for local media. Obviously, another year of you all working to get the message out about some of the important activities of the county government and things that are important to our residents. And obviously, you all play an important role in having informed uh, population, and it's part of a thriving democracy. So appreciate all you all and have a good Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
All right, Mark, anything you'd like to share before we depart? You have Thanksgiving recipes, football picks, anything that you'd like to share?
none of my football teams have any meaningful seasons this year, so we won't talk about football picks. I just hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. I'm going to get to see 3 of my 4 grandkids, and my son's coming up from Columbia, so it's really nice to have all the family together. And we do combination turkey and vegetarian meals, so it's a divided extended family. And so we have to be sure we have turkey and dressing. We also have to be sure we have gluten-free um, things like gluten-free stuffing. I want to see that. Um, and main courses for people who do not eat turkey. So there's stuff for everybody, but I know it's always been one of the things I really enjoy. And I know a lot of other people feel the same way. So I hope everybody goes out and has a holiday that they remember and catches up with all the people that matter to them. And we'll see you on the other side of it.
All right, thank you everybody for joining us today. Have a happy holiday.